Neonic Void Productions presents.
Hi, welcome to Spookocalypse. I'm gonna start today. I am one of your hosts, Zio, and today it's gonna be a boys' night.
Oh my goodness, we haven't had boys' night in
For
a long while.
exactly. Mad Chairman out there, we miss you. I'm gonna message him later. I haven't talked to that fool in a while. I'm gonna message him later. I'm like, what's good? Of course, I'm joined here with Bunny Up, as you do, as he is always here. And today we're going to be one person short. We're going to be short housekeeper. And you know, I probably should have gotten the housekeeping spiel from her, but I didn't. So we're going to wing it today. If you look in the description below, if you can follow the link to the link tree, that'll take you to the other link, to more links of the YouTube channel and the other podcasts in the Neonic Void family. If you'd like to follow us on Twitter, because I'm not calling it by that stupid ass name, follow us at Spookocalypse at SPOOKOCLYPSE. Follow us on Twitter. We do spooky shit over there. And of course, if you want to follow us on YouTube, go follow us on YouTube. Like and subscribe. I don't know. Comment. Oh my God, that guy's gay. Yeah, no shit. I don't know. I'm at your mama. Pride Month. Woo. I nailed it. I should get an award for that. I should get an award for the worst fucking housekeeping. I'm really bad at this.
And of course, to appropriately caress the bell thingy if you want to be pestered about our videos.
The bell thingy. Not caressing the bell. Smack it. Smack it like a butt cheek. Oh my God. What's sage flavor mint?
Oh my God, that's a good question. Is there like a drink that they served in the bar that was particularly standing out?
Not that I can think of. Tequila. I don't know. You know what? No. Okay, it's not gonna be a mint this time. It's gonna be on the nightstand. It's gonna be a drink, the gayest drink you can get at a bar that you can think of that first comes to your mind right now, that is on the bedside waiting for you in the room.
Well, nothing's coming to mind, so I don't have a clue.
Alcohol, baby. Drink responsibly. Anyway, so today we're continuing on with our journey through the horrors of Pride Month. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about a new movie that came out back on March 22nd, 2024 to be exact. And this movie is currently on Tubi, and it's called Slay. Slay is a Tubi original film directed by Jim
Garrard.
And Jim Garrard, the films that he has done is he was a director on Charmed, Nancy Drew back in 2023. He was a director on the episode of that. Nothing else that comes to mind when I look at his stuff. Motherland, Fort Salem. He directed a few episodes of that as well. So he's mostly, it seems like, a person who directs television mostly, it seems. And he's directed, I think this is like his first movie. I could be wrong, but that's the only thing that's popping up as far as the movie goes, because everything else is a series. Oh, the TV movie Christmas at Holly Lodge, Murder Upstairs, TV movies. So he's a smaller director. But yes, Slay. So this movie stars Now, I'm going to name off the main cast, while Bunyip will name off the rest of the cast because I'm terrible with names. But the first four I know. So you have the movie stars Trinity the Tuck, which plays Mama Sufly. You got Heidi in Closet as Robin Banks, Crystal Method as Bella DeBois, and then
I think that's Caramel.
Caramel. Oh, duh. I'm so dumb. Caramel. Duh. Caramel, who plays Olive Wood. Now, these first four actors in the movie are also well-known drag queens. Before I get into that, Bunyip, who's the rest of the cast?
Oh, we've got Danya Cash as Jax, Neil Sandilands as Dusty, Gabriel Harry Meltz as Steven, Daniel Jenks as Travis, Robin Scott as Earl, Shane John Kruger as Rufus. Some of these characters, I don't remember who was who. I do remember Travis was the one clearly homophobic character.
Oh, yeah.
But then he also acts like really scared. We're like, "Oh, sir, you might be gay." He's like, "No, I ain't that." And it's like, really? Of course, Dusty is the bartender. Like, he owns the place. I don't see like the name for the one lady in the bar who's just like thrilled to watch the show.
Oh, you mean Cheryl?
Yeah, like I didn't see her listed here.
Yeah, she's not listed here. That's weird.
Yeah, but she's a delight.
I love her. But everyone else is pretty much that was pretty much the big names of the movie of this film. So going back to the drag queens, so Trinity the Tuck, Heidi in Closet, and Crystal Method are all from, of course, RuPaul's Drag Race. A little bit of context. If you're like, oh my God, what's RuPaul's Drag Race? Where have you been? Under a rock? So, RuPaul's Drag Race, for those of you who do not know, is a competition show set up by RuPaul where every season it's a reality show, competition reality show, where every season they get a bunch of drag queens to compete in this, basically the Olympics, but for drag. Basically, is what that's the joke, the running joke they call it. It's the Olympics, but for drag. And the winner of each season gets like either 100K or 200K, depending on which season they're on, if they win the competition. So Trinity the Tuck was on seasons 9 of RuPaul's Drag Race, and they were also on season 4 and 7 of All Stars. So lower context, All Stars, RuPaul Drag Race All Stars is a series that takes the fan favorites of the original franchise and they put them all into another contest called All Stars, where they also compete for money, prizes, whatever have you. And these are usually like the fan favorites, the big personalities of the seasons. And Trinity was on season 4 where she won. She won along with Monet Exchange, which is another drag queen, another personal favorite of mine too. She won season 4, and then she came back for season 7 for an all winners season, which they had a season where all winners from like All Stars and the original series, they had picked a bunch of the winners and they put them all in the competition together as well. So that's Trinity. Heidi in Closet is from seasons 12 of regular Drag Race and All Stars season 8. She did not win her seasons, unfortunately. Love her though. Heidi, if you're out there, I love you. Please come on the pod. I know you play D&D, girl. I've seen you on Critical Role playing D&D. Come on. Then you have season 13. Oh, sorry, season 12 contestant, which is Crystal Method. I love that her name references crystal meth. It's so funny. Some of these names, I hear you. Some of these names. Now, she has not been on a All-Star season, unfortunately, but she was one of the final on the finalists for season 12. Now, Caramel, she is an American drag queen, but she was not on the American Drag Race. She was on the Drag Race UK, the UK version of it, because she moved to London after when she went to after finishing university. After finishing her school, and she decided to move to London, and then from there she ended up going on Drag Race UK for season 5. Which I don't know if she won that season or not. Let me look. Season 5. Nope, she did not win her season. But I think she made. Oh gosh, I'm gonna look it up right now. Where is she at? Oh, she left in episode 4 out of 10. So she got about halfway, almost the halfway mark. So halfway through her season. So those are the big drag queens. This movie obviously is gay as hell because the 4 main stars in it are a bunch of drag queens. Bundy, what's your thoughts on drag?
I know very little about it other than, I guess, popular media's portrayal in the past of like drag queens. What a weird bunch of people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know a whole lot about the drag queen community or the culture around it.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that. What were your thoughts going into this movie before we get into the plot? When I suggested this movie, what were your thoughts?
I wasn't like shocked or anything. I was just like, oh, a new thing I don't know about. I'm gonna look into this, and then I watch it, and I'm seeing them in the RV driving there, and they're just having their conversation, which honestly just sounds like Zio arguing with Kaiju Groupie in some cases.
Yeah. That's right.
Like,
You're
oh,
right.
so it's not just Zio. It's just either that or Zio. You get your speech mannerisms from their style of speaking, I guess.
I mean, it's just gay. It's the gays. It's the gays. Wow, I knew you were going to say something like that.
But it was still pretty enjoyable. And then, like, seeing them get into their new outfits, I'm like, oh, they look stunning.
Period.
Should we see who our favorite drag queen was in this movie before we get into it, or like after we've discussed?
Ooh, after we discuss.
Okay.
So this movie starts off with, of course, Mama Soufly, Robin Banks, Bella DeVoys, and Olive Wood are in an RV, a very bright pink RV traveling in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. And they're going to their next gig to perform in drag, of course. And they're talking about how this place is so extravagant and so bad. I can't remember the name that they gave, but they named off some extravagant place. And they're like, oh, I can't believe we finally got a gig here.
I think it was called the Bold Tuck. And the place they show up to is called the Bold Buck. And then they give Robin a really hard time. Like, you fucked up the booking.
Yeah, she fucked up the booking. Oh, God. And they basically end up in a bar in the middle of buttfuck nowhere to basically, obviously, if you are of the LGBT or any minority that's not white, going into a small little dinky little town in the buttfuck nowhere is probably not the safest thing to do. And they realize real quick, oh, we stand out like a fucking sore thumb amongst all these country folk, country biker folk,
people of the earth.
Yeah, if you call it that.
It's from Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, I got the reference. It clicked after you said it. I'm like, yeah, yeah.
You know, morons. It's like, but like they just have a very certain way of life, and they want to keep it that way, and they're not interested in hearing any new ideas.
Exactly.
They show up and it's like, oh, I don't think we should be here. And while the RV's pulled up, they haven't gotten out yet, and then everyone's looking over like, what the hell?
what the hell is that? Yeah, exactly. And they're like, well, shit. So they they go in and they find out they are at the right place, obviously. And they're like, well, fuck. And the guy that runs it, Dusty, he doesn't admit it right away that he was the one that set them up, that booked them. Cause he said, oh, I can't remember the female employee that he said, but somebody in the day shift booked them that they were talking to.
Now, someone in the morning booked you, but they ain't here right now. I was like, oh. I was like, well, I need someone to perform here tonight, and I ain't got nobody else. So here's an envelope of money.
Yeah.
And then, like, the only two people who had been following their event schedule show up.
Two local gays. Yeah.
I don't remember what their names are. The only one that I remember is the shorter one who acts like a kid, like a literal kid, even though they're maybe 21.
Yeah. Two local gays heard about these queens coming to their neck of the woods. And they're like, oh, fuck, we got to come over here and see them because they're locals. And like, oh, shit, we never get anything gay around here. We're going to go watch. And it's two of them. And this movie's quite funny because even though they feel like they don't really fit in and they're very much out of their comfort zone being here, they kind of soon find out that in some way they kind of do fit because everyone around them is just as weird, but weird differently. If that makes sense. While there are obviously some people there that are very much homophobes, but there are others that are just like, you know what? This is kind of lit. I'm kind of living for this. Like there's one character named Cheryl who's, God bless her soul, she is giving everything. And she's just there for a good time, not a long time. And throughout this movie, throughout the introduction, you also get a cutaway scene of some guy putting fruits, vegetables, whatever, in the back of a truck, like he's going to be doing a delivery, and a vampire or some monster comes up.
That was the opening scene.
Yeah, that was the opening scene. Some vampire, quote unquote, that's walking in broad daylight, mind you. What? Or not broad daylight, but it's like the editing where it looks like it's nighttime or dusk. It's not. It's weird. And
you mean like they shot day for night?
No, scratch that. The vampire was in broad daylight because these vampires don't die from sunlight. Spoiler alert. I'm a little ahead.
It does kind of bother them a little, but not enough.
Yeah, not enough. They're not going to explode. It just hurts their eyes. But vampire gets a guy, and then it starts the whole pink RV. Oh my god, you booked the wrong place. That storyline that we were just talking about. And they decide to take the job, even though Olivewood's like, no, I don't want to fucking be here. And they get into, obviously there's a fight that brews between Mama and Olive, since Olive is the newest member of this drag family. And let me tell you, Bella Des Bois is hopelessly confused like all the time. There's not a single thought going on in her brain, and she's entertaining as hell. It's like it's great. She's hilarious. She's more of the comedic relief of the movie, and I love Bella. Or Crystal Method as the actual drag queen's name. She's great. They get their what do they call it? They get a room where a place where they can start getting ready, get dressed, put on their makeup, do the whole get into drag. And they kind of just learn about the people surrounding them. Like learn a little bit about Dusty. Dusty seems a little off at first, and then you kind of, I'm gonna be jumping around here, but you can kind of find out that Dusty is a closeted gay man, and he purposefully, he was the one that booked them, and he was kind of glad that he booked these drag queens because he wanted something to. He wanted to come out the closet, you know, figuratively and literally. And he kind of got when he got contacted by them, he's like, you know, I'm gonna take this opportunity. We need to. You could tell that he wanted to be around the gays because he was one closet gay man. So as that storyline's going on, they do their show. People being rambunctious and shit, and start a fight, start arguing with them, and they're kind of looking at them weird, looking at the drag queens weird, and they're like, "Hey, we're just here like everybody fucking else. We're trying to entertain you bitches." And it goes south, but then they find out, oh shit, there's a bunch of vampires outside. Because people start leaving, and then they all started getting attacked one by one by vampires, and they start turning into vampires, which those vampires start attacking other people and turning them into vampires. So then it becomes like a horde of vampires surrounding this bar, trying to get to everyone that's living.
Like Rufus, the guy in the beginning he got attacked, and he was like their chef. Like he shows up and was like, "You're late, Rufus," and then meanwhile Cheryl's like, "I just want my chicken wings," and he's supposed to make them, and then he's just acting all belligerent because he's like bit by the vampire and he's getting the vampire senses, and it manifests as like people smelling really good, and then he wants to bite them, and then he bites some people, and then they go nuts.
And then just a chain reaction of a bunch of vampires. They kick people out, or people start running out, and the majority of the vampires end up outside. One of them ends up in a freezer. Like, they try to take care of the situation, blockade the bar from the inside, so no vampires get inside, but a bunch of them still do. They do find their ways to the vents or through a window hatch and so on and so forth. Again, this movie is high antics, hilarious. The plot is not really what I call deep, but it doesn't need to be, because this movie doesn't take itself very seriously. It knows what it is, and it's fun. It's not the serious movie. It's camp, it's fun, it's drag, and it gives you what you're going there to watch for. Like it gives you what you're expecting, and you kind of this movie just entertaining as hell for me personally. It's quite funny. But they start taking out vampires, shooting them in the face, getting weapons, whatever have you. And it's funny because there's one part with Cheryl, not Sheila, Cheryl. So Cheryl is watching out the door. And at this point, I think they've already lost Bella Des Bois, because she got bit by a vampire and they thought she was dead. And come to find out, oh no, she's a vampire, but she's not like the rest of them. So Bella dies, and you're like, oh well, shit, goddamn, they kill off Bella. And she comes back as a vampire, and they're expecting her to go rabid like the others, but you realize, oh no, vampires are like people. But just because you're a vampire doesn't mean you gotta be a dick. So the others are just shitty people that became shitty vampires. Well, you got vampires like Bella here who can control her urges for blood and just be a decent fucking person. Now, Cheryl is watching the door to make sure no vampires get in. And at one point, after Bella came back, they realized that Cheryl's become a vampire. And she's like, when did you become a vampire? And they're like, her line was what? Like, they bit my titty. She got bit in the tit, right?
No. She got bit in the arm. And the funny thing is, she got bit by a character who has no teeth. But because he became a vampire, he grew only fangs.
Yes, that is true. That is true. That's right. She got bit in the arm because he came through the window, because she decided to plant herself right in front of a hole in the window, and she got bit, but she didn't tell anybody. And then she became a vampire again. Love her. she's like Bella. She's not ravenous and shit. She's just like, I'm just chilling. She's just chilling there. And because I think those two are the only ones that become not Dusty. Dusty does not become a vampire. Is it Travis?
No, not Travis. There's some guy who does sound mixing.
And yeah, the sound mixer guy becomes a vampire.
And he
Jax
eats a rat.
Eats a rat. And he does. He unfortunately does die though. He does kick the bucket, trying to save everybody because all the vampires start piling into the bar all at once, and they start fighting him off. But the sound mixer guy does end up dying from the altercation with the other vampires. Bella and Cheryl both live. And of course, by this point, Dusty's already in drag because he talks about how he used to do drag, I think, as a kid, and he kind of liked how it was to be in drag. So the girls put him in drag, and Dusty kind of accepts himself as a gay man in this world. And he basically says that if they all survive this night, he's going to change the bar. He's going to make it more gay friendly over here. So they kill the vampires. They do survive the night. But they realize that obviously Cheryl and Bella are going to be vampires forever. And that's when you kind of realize that, oh, they can go outside in the daytime. You just have to, they can't be out there for long because it makes it uncomfortable for them. I'm assuming it's one of the situations where you either have to have like an umbrella, sunglasses, anything to keep the rays off, but it won't burst into flames if you have a vampire out in the sun. I mean, that's pretty much the movie, because after they survive the night, they kind of just go their separate ways, and Dusty and the two gays that came by to watch the drag queens the night before, Dusty vowed that he would change the bar to make it a gay bar. And of course, the drag queens said they would come back. They would obviously come back and do a gig when he did the renovations for the bar. And I mean, that's pretty much the movie. Did I forget anything?
Oh, I think you forgot a lot.
I did?
Well, mainly Travis being like...
Well, Travis, yeah.
The poster child for homophobia.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Travis,
acting tough, but then like being
yes.
confronted and checked on. And he's like backs down pretty easily. And for some reason, so he's always carrying a gun. Most of the bar patrons are carrying guns, and they used to shoot the vampires, and it clearly doesn't work. And then he always runs out of ammo in every scene he's in. And then later when it's like, oh, we gotta shoot vampires again, he just has more ammo. And I'm like, where did you get that ammo? Like, where in the bar did you get the ammo? Was it on your person? And why didn't you reload then?
He pulled it out of his ass.
And then when Dusty shows up and he's fully dragged out, has this bearded lady kind of appearance going on. Drag's like, well, what you gonna do? You gonna get yourself pronouns now? I was like, everybody has pronouns. I was like, not me. I don't have pronouns. Like, so you just have nouns.
He, him are pronouns, my dude. Yeah, Travis was great because Travis kind of illustrated the character idea of, oh, a homophobe. By the end, in the beginning of the movie, but by the end of it, he's
kind of like reluctantly accepting, but not completely sure.
He's on the staircase up to acceptance. Like, he's getting there, obviously. Because acceptance doesn't happen overnight. It happens over time when you're kind of just realize that, hey, people in the LGBTQIA+ community are just people trying to live their lives like everybody else. So I kind of like how they played out Travis.
I'm glad they didn't just kill him off because that's really easy to
Right?
do. Like, oh,
Yeah.
someone that we don't like, well, we'll just get rid of them. Like, well, okay, but you can still like change someone's mind and
Yeah.
like help melt away their prejudices. Like, I think there was a TED talk by this man who literally met up with KKK members, and he's gotten
Mhm.
several of them that given up their robes.
Yeah.
Like, he basically just talked with them, and they don't have their precious views anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that's kind of astounding.
And it's not impossible to change people's views. People just gotta be open minded.
Yeah, like it's like you have to try and take the time to understand them, but they also have to take the time to understand you.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, also there was also another plot where Olivia Wood left the bar, took the RV, drove off, but then drove back because she was like, well, shit.
Yeah, I think that was just when Bella died, and
Yeah, that's when Bella died. Yeah.
she was responsible for keeping an eye on Bella
Yeah.
and the childish gay
Yeah.
character.
The
Still
short
don't know
gay.
their
Yeah.
name,
Yeah. Because
and
the
it was
vampire
like,
got through the window and then went through this whole sequence of chasing them, and then of course bit Bella, and she quote unquote died by the time Olivia came back. Olive came back.
yeah, and then Olive had that hairpin. It looked like a hairpin, just something to keep her hair back. That was given to her by Mama Souffle earlier, and she
Yeah.
used that to kill the original vampire that started all of this. And then
Yep.
she like makes her way back.
Yeah. I initially thought when she killed that vampire with Mama's hairpin, I thought for a second like, oh god, you killed the original vampire, the others will turn back, because that's in some lore that you kill the main vampire that turned everyone will turn back to human. But obviously that did not happen.
Yeah, it didn't go through. And it doesn't quite establish the kind of lore around how the vampires work in this movie, but I'm assuming it's
Exactly.
based off of Stoker logic because
Yeah.
steaks work
Yeah.
and garlic hurts and sunlight is inconvenient. And they do have to be invited in, although they get past that for the bar of like, there's a neon sign that's like, yeah, all are welcome. And it's like, oh shit. It's an implied welcoming. It's an implied invitation. And then with the motorhome, it's like, you think you can be safe in that motorhome? And it's like, this counts as a home. I have to invite you in. It's got kitchen, bathroom, bedroom. It's a motorhome. You can't get in. It's like, damn it.
Right. But I mean, the vampires were cool and how they did them, and the super strength and the teeth and the eyes. Their eyes would turn red. That was pretty cool. And how you can tell the eyes of the I don't think the eyes change color, because I know some vampires in some media, when they're hungry and ravenous, they're red, but when they're full, they're like yellow. But I don't think this movie did that though. I think they were just red all the time.
I think it was just being read, but
Yeah.
I think the sound guy, his were briefly yellow when it was like, oh, I'm a vampire now, but then turning red when it was like the hunger was taking over.
Yes. I think that's pretty much. I think that's all the main plot. Travis, Olive left, came back. That's when Bella died. Bella became a vampire. Everything became badass. He found Cheryl. Found out Cheryl was became a vampire out of the blue because no one saw that coming. And then fought him off. Won. Death took the bar. Gonna reimagine the bar and all to go separate ways. I think that's everything. I don't think oh no. Robin and had a thing going on with the other gay that came by. That
The
came with him.
taller gay, I
The
guess.
taller guy, yeah. He had Robin had a thing going on with him. I don't think anything really panned out. I think they did kiss towards the end though, but outside that,
They kind of kept getting cock blocked by plot.
yeah. Yeah. They kept getting cop blocked. Interrupted. if you will.
That's a TV trope right there.
Yeah.
Cock blocked by the plot.
Cock blocked by the
Where two
plot.
characters are gonna kiss, and then something comes up and is like, "Sir, you're gonna see this." It's like, "Fuck, okay."
That's the name of today's episode. Cock blocked by the plot. But I'm gonna style it in such a way so we're not gonna get in trouble for putting cock blocked in the title.
Like, as long as you still include the movie name in the
Yes,
title.
it'll be in parentheses like I have been. Yeah. God.
Because that 100th episode just says 100th episode, and I swear we talked about a movie there, and I don't know if it was
I
just
don't
like a
remember.
discussion or if it was a legit review.
I don't know.
But
I don't remember.
It's tagged Megan.
It might be. We might have talked about Megan. I had to listen back to episode 100. That's why I might do this weekend, actually, ladies and gentlemen. Go back to episode 100 and listen to it and be like, cool. Did we actually talk about Megan? Did we talk about Megan? Because that is the question that's been reoccurring throughout this whole series is, did we talk about Megan? Because Megan is tagged in the episode. So I'm wondering if episode 100 was the Megan episode. I'm gonna get to the bottom of this, ladies and gentlemen, because this is like the third or fourth time this was brought up. I would think I would have put the episode name in there. Anyway, any whoosies. Thoughts on Slay?
Symbolism with vampires. I don't know, this might be a stretch, but it's like almost using vampires as an illusion of like catching the gay, although that's not how it works.
No.
Like maybe they're afraid of the vampires. It's like, I don't even know where I'm going with this. I'm curious as to like why they picked vampires specifically for this plot point, because it could have been any monster, but they went with vampires.
That's a good question. Maybe just for the camp vibe, or I don't know. I don't know if there was a particular reason why they chose vampires and they just happened to choose. Oh, this would be a fun scenario: 4 drag queens in a bar in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by vampires. The reason why they chose vampires might not be that deep.
True, other than the ending where like, oh, I can try not to be an asshole vampire. I can just be a decent vampire. Like, all right, cool.
Yeah, the whole idea of they're just people too. We're all just people.
And I guess it creates an us versus them scenario. Like you could do it with zombies, but vampires works just as well.
Yeah.
Because at first they were like, once you're a vampire, like you can't return. I was like, no, I'm actually not a bad person. And you could see it as like, oh, once my fellow friend becomes gay or just realize that they're gay, then you sort of see it as like, oh, I don't know them anymore, even though
they're still the same person.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's also,
they're all still the same people before we came out. We're just now gay.
You could also kind of flip it to where it's like, oh, I thought I knew this person, but now they're really prejudiced and hateful.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see where you're getting all that. Damn. Work.
I guess to sort of slip into the review segment.
Mm-hmm.
The special effects are really cheap looking.
Yeah.
Mainly like with the blood. I think like when Cheryl gets bit, it looks kind of vicious at first. Like at first there's just 2 dots to represent being bit and then like a lot of blood. But then she covers it up immediately and it's like there's no mess.
Yeah.
Why is there no mess? Shouldn't there be like a lot more blood?
You would think.
And of course, a hilarious way to save budget is to have everyone stand in a doorway and then look outwards towards the camera and then describe what's happening, but then the camera just doesn't cut to anything else. Oh
Yeah.
my, his head got chopped off. Oh, look at all that fire. And it's like, can we see it? It's like, no.
Yes. But in a way, I kind of find that funny that they did that. That we don't get to see any of that, but someone's gonna tell us about it.
Yeah, that's some Velocipaster shit right there.
Yeah, there is some Velocipaster type shit. But my thoughts on the movie, I enjoyed this movie. Again, this movie is fun. It's gay. It gives you what you go in for. What you're expecting is what they give you. And it's just a very fun. It's a very fun movie. It's not thing to not take it seriously. It's a pretty good fun movie. It's something. It's just I mean that's it. It's just a fun movie. Camp, the gay, drag queens. You love drag culture or drag queens, especially like RuPaul's Drag Race. You're gonna love this movie, because I did. So rating system: 1 out of 5 wigs.
Okay. I'm leaning towards 3.5 personally.
3.5 wigs. Okay, that's not a bad score.
Yeah,
Not a bad score.
mainly for like the special effects. I kind of wish they were a little better. Like you can still get away with cheaper effects because there's a thing called a budget, and for a campy film, you can usually get away with that. It
Yeah.
just didn't feel like, I guess, the right amount of cheap to me.
hmm
Like I just wish they were a little better.
That's fair.
And it seems like a typical plot of like, oh no, we don't like you. Well, we don't like you. Oh no, a third party that we both don't like. What if we keep fighting each other anyway? No, we have to stick together. Like it's that kind of story that you've heard over again. But I do
Yeah.
appreciate that it took different takes on it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, oh, this person has become a vampire. We have to put them down. But I don't really want to kill y'all. I mean, y'all smell really fucking good, but I'm not going to eat you. And I was like, oh, interesting. I'd say I do like the sets of it.
Mhm.
Like a lot of work went into making the bar look like an old rural bar.
Yeah.
And when they're like doing that show, it's like, oh, even though they only got like one light, it's at least established in the story where it's like, okay, we need lights here and here. And he's like, I got this one light. I can turn it, and if I flick this, it turns on and off. It's like, okay, you have a limited lighting setup. All right.
We'll work with it.
But I think they add a little bit of more lightings just to the like set production just to help light some scenes, especially like
Yeah.
their performance. Anyway, that looked nice. Like it seems like a pretty decent movie to me,
Mhm.
and I'd be fine watching it again.
Okay. So 3.5 out of 5.
hmm
For me, I want to give this movie a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. Sure. Is the effect kind of cheap? Yeah, I'll agree. They could have been a little better, but I don't know. Something about it, it fit. It kind of fit in with the vibe of the movie. I like the comedy with the horror. I am a fan of comedy horror. So if you make me laugh, you got me, and they got me. And I was kind of really invested in the story as a whole, because I like these type of stories where it's in a horror film. It's not really a film; it's more of a situation. Watch these characters in a situation. I find that some of those movies are like that, like underwater is like that, where you got a bunch of these characters in a certain situation, rather than it being like a movie. It's more of like, here's a scenario, let's watch it play out. You know, that makes sense, because you got those horror movies that are like story driven, and then you got those horror movies that are like, here's characters in a scenario, we're going to start off right off the bat. You got an hour and a half to 2 hours maybe, and we're going to see how this scenario plays out.
Yeah,
And that's pretty much it.
Like the premise sounds similar to what you might expect from like an 80s style sitcom setup. Like it's 3 grown men trying to take care of a baby. They don't know
Yeah.
what they're gonna do, but they're gonna
Exactly.
pull together anyway. And then this one's like 4 drag queens show up at a bar that doesn't want them there. Oh no! And they're getting attacked by vampires. What are they gonna do?
Yeah, it's very much one of those type of movies, but it's not in any way a bad thing. Because sometimes, like this movie, Underwater, and several others, they actually make that work because you don't have to worry too much about giving the background on the characters that much. And that's not really the center point. The center point is watching these characters try to survive or live through the situation. And it's entertaining. I can't deny that at all. So I'm gonna rate this a 4 out of 5. So the average is going to be a 3.75. So ladies and gentlemen, if you want to go watch this movie, Slay is currently on Tubi for free. So go watch it. Apparently this is what?
Not to be confused with the 2022 documentary Slay about the fashion industry and animal cruelty, which I stumbled on accident.
Yeah, no, it's Slay, the 2024 film. The image on Tubi should be a picture of 4 drag queens with the title Slay in the middle. This is also, of course, one of the 3 movies that Tubi announced that are vampire projects. I don't know what the other 2 vampire films were going to be, if they've even released them yet, but this is one of the ones they released. They announced back in October of 2023. So yeah, all of it's on Tubi. If you like, I'll probably put a link in the description to the movie itself if you want to check it out on Tubi. But otherwise, thank y'all for listening to today's episode.
Wait, we didn't get to favorite drag queens that were in this movie.
Oh, favorite drag queen. Yes. Favorite drag queen for me out of the 4, I really liked Bella. I really liked Bella or Crystal Method in this because, again, she played a character that was hopelessly confused. There's no thoughts going through that brain of hers. It was just like lights are on, but no one's home, and I love it.
I was more drawn to Mama Souffle's character.
Yes, Mama Souffle.
Or Trinity the Tux character, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she had this, like her aesthetic looks like, I guess, classy with like the dress she's wearing and the hairstyle and the gloves. Although like the straps, I don't know what that, how do you describe those straps on a dress? Because it looks like they're a crosswire decoration. I
have to look at the dress, but I think that's what I know you're talking about. I think that's what it's like a crosswire situation that's happening.
Yeah, like I liked her outfit, but I also liked her leadership and like her character, like just getting everybody to stick together.
Yeah, she's the mother. The mother.
Yeah. So yeah. Mama Souffle, favorite character.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, and others. Go watch Slay. And if you're not watching RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 9 on Paramount, what are you doing? I am not sponsored by them, but go watch it. Support the queens. Support local drag as well. It's Pride Month. Go to a drag show. I want to. I might. But thank y'all for listening to today's episode on Slay. Again, that movie is on Tubi. The link to that will be in the description below if you want to check it out. Otherwise, catch us next time as we continue on our journey through queer horror in Pride Month. So catch y'all next week. Until then, bye.
Goodbye.